Okay, here we are. Hey everyone, it's James, also known as Flyman. Welcome back to the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. So, we didn't really cover almost everything. We still have a little bit more to go, so we're going to look around, see what else we have left to find. Would help if you people included an elevator for these poor people. Alright, we're now inside the left Joy-Con 2. Also, before we begin, I do want to say I would like to let you all know that I am a bit sick, but I do want to at least finish this. So, alright. So we're gonna actually try this minigame next. We're gonna try coloring the shapes. Oh, great. Shit. Ah, again! Ah! There we go! Alrighty. We got those. Alright. Oh, part 2. Alright, we got Joy-Con 2 chip. Capture button. We got the D-pad here, so let's just hit all these. Get that, and that, and minus button, and I think we're missing 2 more. Oh, let's say a quiz here. Alright, how are Joy-Con 2 control sticks different from the control sticks of the past? Let's take a look. Alright. Alright, so I think we start here. Alright, Nintendo and control sticks. For decades now, Nintendo's controllers have had control sticks. First Nintendo controller to feature control stick was a Nintendo... Hang on. Easier to use sticks. Alright, the Joy-Con 2 control sticks have changed a lot from the Joy-Con control sticks of the Nintendo Switch. They're bigger and easier to place your fingers on. They can also move a little wider. And the control sticks are a little easier to press in. Multiple efforts were used into making them easier to use. The Joy-Con 2 control sticks have been given some attention. We want the controls to feel nice and comfortable. To that end, we've made sure that... Oops. To that end, we made sure that they visually don't feel like they're snagging. They also snap back to center. It'll make sense once you compare to the control sticks on the Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Con. Alright. How do control sticks work? At the bottom of each control stick, there's a part that touches a spot where electricity flows. So when a stick is tilted, the part that touches the spot will move depending on the degree of the tilt. When the part that's touching the spot moves, the strength of the electrical flow changes. The computer detects this to know how much the control stick is being tilted. The mechanism can detect even the slightest of movements, which allows for very precise controls. And lastly, for decades now, Nintendo controllers have had control sticks. The first Nintendo controller to feature an analog stick was a Nintendo 64 controller from way back in 1996. And then came the Nintendo GameCube controller, which had both a control stick and a dedicated C-stick. The Nunchuck for Wii has a control stick. Well, the Classic Controller and Classic Controller Pro, also for Wii, both have L and R sticks. The Wii U Gamepad and Wii U Pro Controller also have L and R sticks, along with the Joy-Con and Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. How many of these controllers did you recognize? All of them. We were shaping and improving the controllers as time goes on. Alright. Let's go take a quiz now. Alright, let's do it. Here we go. Alrighty. In what way have the Joy-Con control sticks changed compared to Nintendo Switch Joy-Con control sticks? They're bigger. Alright, what feature has been added to Joy-Con 2 which makes them easier to move? Snap back to the center. Alrighty. Strength of what changes when you move the Joy-Con 2 control sticks? Electrical flow. Which of the following does not include control sticks? That is the Super Nintendo. So you're still 2D gaming. Nice! Yeah, perfect score. Pretty impressive. I guess nothing about the control sticks can surprise you. Alrighty. Let's see what's down here. Give me a minute. Back to the left stick we go. Alright. Here you go. Alright, back to the inner board. Alright, where next? Alright, let's head down here, see what we can find. Get that up. Alright, HD Rumble 2. And now there's one more thing we're missing. Ah, there it is! The battery! There we go! We all advance in Area H. Before we go, let's take some quizzes. Alright, the Joy-Con 2 made out of controllers. Let's do it. And here is Insights 2. Let's go to Insights 2 first. Alright. The Joy-Con 2 controllers SL and SR buttons are much larger than the SL and SR buttons on Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. As a matter of fact, the ABXY buttons and directional buttons are also bigger too. This makes them a lot easier to use. Okay. Underneath the Joy-Con 2 buttons is a dome-shaped piece of metal, and beneath that is an incomplete circuit. When you press a button, the dome bends downward. The dome touches the circuit and completes it. The computer catches this and knows which button has been pressed. As all told, it's a pretty simple mechanism. And how does a Joy-Con 2 controller stay together? It is held with a tight number of screws. There are 4 total. Can you tell where they are? Try to find them. How'd you do? 2 screws on the side attached to the main body. But on the other side, no screws are visible at first glance. The other 2 are hidden by a lid. Thanks to this, the screws in their surroundings are less likely to get dirty. It also makes the screws less noticeable and prevents them from being touched during play. Alright, time to go take the quiz. Alrighty, here we go. Alright. How have the Joy-Con... they're bigger. Alright. The Doji part underneath, the buttons on Joy-Con 2, they're made of metal. Alright. There are the two of the outer screws that keep Joy-Con 2 controller together visible. How more are hidden? How many outer screws are there in total? 4. Because there's 2 on the left Joy-Con, 2 on the right one. Nice! Alright. Alright, let's see what we got next. Moving connectors. One way that Nintendo Switch 2 console and the Joy-Con 2s are linked is via connectors. These connectors can't slide around much. They're designed to move only very slightly. Note this video is purely for reference. Even if the controllers are not perfectly lined up, when you attach them, the connectors will do the rest of the work. Their positions should line up perfectly. The Joy-Con 2 controllers attach firmly to the console. Why is this? Well, not just because the magnets are very strong. The console and the SLSR buttons form a strong magnetic circuit. To create a strong circuit, we simulated lots of different combinations and positions. Out of those, we selected the magnetic circuit that results in the strongest possible configuration. In this case, it makes the circuit less likely to cause issues. This means it will interfere with other magnetic parts. Detaching controllers requires low force. Release buttons are used to detach the Joy-Con 2 controllers from the console. We made it so that you can detach the controllers easily with very little force. When you press the release button, a small rod just out of controller. The rod pushes against the main body of the console. You shouldn't need to press the button very hard to reach this point. Using the principle of leverage, it pushes against the console with over twice the usual force. The magnets that attach to the controllers to the console are strong, yes. But if they're separated even by a short distance, they become very weak. When the rod pushes against the console, the controller moves away just a little. This makes it easy to detach. Also, the direction in which you press the release button is the same direction that you pull the detached Joy-Con 2 controllers. This detail makes it even easier to remove. Alright. Quiz time. Alright, let's do it. Here we go. Alright, the connector detach Joy-Con 2 controllers so that then use the Prosmo. What way? It can move a little. Alright. What makes it so that the Joy-Con 2 SLSR buttons attached to the front of the console's magnet? Strong magnetic circuit. And lastly, when you press or release the button, about how much force does the rod that pushes against the Nintendo 2 console apply compared to the force you press the release button? About half. Ah! Alright. Over twice the usual force. Alrighty. There we go. Here we go. Alright. Hopefully I got this time. Okay. Much better. Alright. Let's go get rid of this. Let's go dump this hat. Actually, you know what? I can just go back to the left stick. There we go. Alright. Here we go. We got a cap. Alrighty. I guess our next section is I. Alright, did you get all the stamps in Area H? The Joy-Con 2L inner area? I did. Alright, let's get going. The next area is 4 elevators. Alright, so we got the Joy-Con 2 grip. Alright, there we go. Left foot. Next up we have right foot. Alright, player LED. Got one on the left and we got one on the right. Alright, elevator going down. Alright, rubber cap. These rubber caps help muffle the noise produced when the Joy-Con 2 controllers rumble. There we go, another one. Oh, good. An item. There we go, magnetic connector left. Alright, let's head back and go to the other side now. There we go, rubber cap. Magnetic connector. Alright, I'm missing one thing. What could it be? Ah, there we go! The logo! Alright, we have unlocked Area J. Oh, there's a minigame we can try. 4 medals. Alright, balloon hunt. Alright, in this minigame you'll be moving around a Joy-Con 2 and using the Joy-Con 2 as a mouse. Alright. So to hunt down and burst 10 balloons as quickly as possible. Sure, try it out. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Alrighty. I want to try it again. There we go! And we got the Ender Medal. Alright. Pretty good, this stuff. Alright. There's also part 2. Oh, a quiz! I'm looking for you. We'll learn about the Joy-Con 2 grip. Alright, here we go. When it comes to the Joy-Con 2 grip, attaching and detaching a Joy-Con 2 is easy. The controllers contain magnets, so you can simply hold them up to the sides and they'll attach by themselves. The release buttons let you detach each of the controllers with ease. For example, if you're playing alone with the grip but you want to add a second player, you detach the Joy-Con 2 and hand it to someone else to, well, straight away. The Joy-Con 2 controllers are bigger than the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. This means the Joy-Con 2 grip is larger than the Joy-Con grip. However, simply making it bigger would be harder to hold. So, the ends of the grip have been made thinner to make it easier to grasp. The Joy-Con 2 grip can stand up. The grip can stand, so it doesn't take up too much space when it is time to put it away. There are two protrusions on the underside measuring approximately 0.2 millimeters each. These protrusions act as tiny feet. It's a subtle detail, but this is what helps keep the grip popped up. Alright, let's go take the quiz. Alright, here we go. Alright, magnetic force is what is used to attach the Joy-Con 2 grip to Joy-Con 2. Alright, next question. Parts you hold have been thinned out. Alright. The Joy-Con 2 are being able to stand up. Sorry about taking too much space. Alright, perfect score. Alright. There we go. Ah, another quiz? You can't even know our woman. GL, GR buttons? Huh. Charging grip. The Joy-Con 2 charging grip has a key difference from the Joy-Con 2 grip. It includes a USB Type-C connector. You can connect the USB cable here to charge Joy-Con 2 controllers. That's not all. When a Joy-Con 2 charging grip is connected to the dock or Nintendo Switch 2 console with a USB cable, it connects to the console via wired communication, not wireless. Welcome on in, Habit Lennon. How you doing? And I do not speak Mandarin. And ask why will you please speak English. The Joy-Con 2 charging grip isn't just for charging controllers. Like the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, it also includes GL button and GR button. You can use your middle fingers or ring fingers to press them. Two buttons are completely separate from the other buttons. Off the bat, nothing will happen when you press either of them, but you can assign different buttons to them in any configuration you'd like. For example, if you find yourself using the minus button a lot, you can assign it to the GL button. Also, I am going to ask politely, you do not say that, because I have found a lot of good stuff in this game. I found mini games, I found fun educational quizzes. Don't call this a paid advertisement. Oh yeah, there are mini games. I'll get to it soon enough. Or maybe you realize that you need to press the B button while keeping the right stick and the ZR button. We'll be back in a moment. I'll go show you one of the mini games I was playing earlier. Oh, it was right here. So here is a mini game. I'll show you how it works. Oh, wait, I can't. I cannot. Oh, there we go. Alright, so this is a mini game. So watch carefully. Do I like Nintendo? Yes, I do. Oh, you want dare me to get it in 9 seconds. So got quickly burst all the balloons. There we go. So if you want to find more of the other mini games you've visited, you can hop over to them here. Here's another mini game that I can show you. You gotta fill in a shape using mouse controls. Alright. Ah, crud. You gotta be perfect with this one. Alright, here we go. Let's try to go for the other medal. Ah, crud. Guess we just can't go willy-nilly. Almost. Alright. There we go. Alright, I got both medals. Ta-da! Alright, let's go try. I'm gonna show you another mini game. Alright, how does this work? Alrighty. Mouse. Alright. Ah, crud. Oh boy. This is actually pretty fun. Alright, here we go. Ah! Well, we got 20 points. See if we can go for 40. Shit. Alright. Alright, well, we got 25 points. Alright, new Rumble mini game. Alright, here we go. Alright, we're gonna try moving them left and right. Man. Never right. Getting closer. Nope. I just keep getting farther away from it. Almost there. Ah! Crud. Man, this is hard. Alright. I gotta go finish the insight quiz on a Joy-Con charging grip. Alright. Press and hold the home button to access quick settings and map the buttons from there. Button mapping settings are stored per usual and per game. You can tailor your settings to your liking for any game you want. The Geo and Geo buttons have also been carefully designed that they should be comfortable to press no matter your hand size. Taking the buttons, proportion, positions, relative height, and size into account. This means they won't get in the way if you don't need them, but they'll be easy to press if you do. Well, let's go take a quiz now. Here we go. Alright, this can use wired communications, and next up. Map other buttons to them however you'd like. Alright. Ta-da! Alright. Back to the Lost and Found. Alright. Here we go! The records! Oh. Alright. Oh, it's just... Never mind. Next up to Area J. Alright. There should be all the stamps. Alright, here we go. Well, yeah, looks like we're going to be spending a lot of time in Area J. Ah, the Pro Controller. Excuse me. Alright. Man, that is a big Pro Controller. Alright. C button, check. D-pad, check. Jail button, yep. Alrighty. Left stick. Capture button. Home button. NFC touch point. Minus button. So this is lighter. Oh. L button. And ZL button. Picks those up. We got the sync button. Player LED. USB Type-C connector. The ZR button. The R button. The plus button. Right stick. B button. A button. X button. Y button. Oh, I'm missing. Or a cap. Ah, there we go. GR button. Alright, where could that last thing be? I swear it's hiding in plain sight. Oh, what's this? Actually, I don't think I can do this. That minigame. Alright. Ah, quiz. About the GL and GR buttons. Sure. Let's do it. Wow, you got a lot of stuff here. Alright, a new design. Here's the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. And here it is next to the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. See any differences? It would have been easy to just take the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller and add a few more buttons. But in fact, the new Pro Controller has been completely redesigned from the ground up. A lot has changed. Alright, if you're interested in using Game Chat, alrighty. If you're interested in Game Chat, Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller makes easy use. For one, you can bring up the menu by straight away with the C button. There's an audio jack on a controller's underside, so you can connect an audio device, such as a pair of headphones. This helps you use game chat even when you're far from the system. Okay, yeah, I know. Speak closer to your microphone that's plugged in via the audio jack. Your own voice will be heard more clearly. It isn't just helpful for game chat either. If you don't want the game audio to come from the TV, you can always listen to it using headphones instead. That's cool. Ah, there it is, the audio jack. I wonder where it was. Alrighty. Here we go. Let's go over to the quizzes. Finish reading these. Alright, a lot to uncover. The GL/GR buttons. The Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller has GL and GR buttons. We know that. Alright, no need to read all this. We can just skip that. Alright, let's move on to here. Pro controller buttons. Okay. Yeah, I think we probably already know this. Alright. And wired communication. We already know. Alright, connect slightly faster than Nintendo Switch 1 in its Pro controller. I also connect it to the USB cable. Top. Nice. Alright. Let's take the quiz. Alright, question number 1. Its design was considered from scratch. What can you connect to the part of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Switch 2 Pro controller here? Microphone or a pair of headphones? Where are the GL/GR buttons located on the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller? On the back of the parts you hold. Alright. Heights, the ABXY buttons are Nintendo Switch 2 controller adjusted in increments of what? 0.05 millimeters. Now, what makes you do to enable wired communication for Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller? Connect a USB cable. Alright. Ta-da! Yeah, we got another quiz as well. Alright. We got 4 this time. Alright. Lane fin. In terms of weight, the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller is a little bit lighter than its predecessor. The center has also been made thinner. It give you room to rest your middle and ring fingers while you're holding the controller. It's easier to hold in general. Alright. Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller is lighter and thinner than a normal one. Smooth Gliding Sticks. See a Control 6 on the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller? You can refer to them as smooth gliding sticks. That's because they're just... Oh. That's because they're designed not to feel sticky or like they're snagging on anything. Also, there shouldn't be any noise when you tilt them all the way. The stick's axes have been designed never to reach the limit of their range. Instead, when they stop at a certain point that you can't see from the outside, and at that point of contact, we place a soft sheet. This gently cushions the area and makes it quieter. All this helps them glide pretty smoothly. Even when the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller grips were given some consideration. You may notice that the controller's grips are seamless. We made sure that there are no grooves in places that your hands might easily touch. This prevents dirt or grime from building up in the cracks. Plus, it just feels nice to hold. To tell you the truth, it was incredibly difficult to make such a complex controller shape out of plastic, especially one without any grooves. It took a lot of finessing, but we made it work. Seamless grip has no cracks or grooves. Alright, last one. Inspired by Nintendo GameCube. One thing about the grips of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller is that they're designed to differ slightly from its Nintendo Switch counterpart. It took some inspiration from the Nintendo GameCube controller grip and thinned it out where you hold it. Why? Because it gives your middle and ring fingers some more space to rest. The controller's not easier to hold. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's do the quiz now. Alright. Let's do it. Alright, Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller Volume 2. Alright, what ways has the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller been modified to make it easier to hold? The center of the controller has been made thinner. Alright. Which of the following is the way you prefer the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller sticks? Smooth gliding sticks. Alright, what has been removed from places on the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller that your hands might easily touch? Grooves. And lastly, the grips on the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controllers were inspired by the design of what other controller? The GameCube. Alright, we did good. Alrighty. Now I guess we can go to we go to Area K next, I guess. So let's go. Alright, next up is... Oh! Another bowling minigame. Balloon Hunt 2. Double balloons. Alright, let's try it out. Wouldn't mind doing that. Alright, here we go. Quickly burst all the balloons. Alright. There we go. I'm gonna try to do a little quicker this time. Alright! Haha! Both medals! Nice. Alrighty. Wow. The last part is unlocked. Oops. Alright, next area up is to Area K. So let's go there. To Area K. Alright. They describe as round and hilly. Oh, I think I know what they are. The wheels for Mario Kart. Nice. Well, since I don't have the required things for them, I will not be doing the mini games here. But we can still look around, see what we can find. Alright, there we go. More feet. Alright, a Joy-Con 2 slot. Should be there one. Alright. There we go, player LED. Alright. Alright, to the Joy-Con L2 area. Alright, here's Lost and Found. Alright. Back up. And we'll finish off where we left off. No. There's nothing here. Alright, the grip. Alright. I'm missing two areas. Where could they be? No, 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 I will not marry you, I'm sorry. I can't go down there. Is anything gonna pop up? Hmm. What am I missing? Mm. God, I feel like I'm missing. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, this is perplexing. Where is that last godforsaken? Where are those last two godforsaken stamps? A little help here. So I can't really find the stamps. Hmm. Anyone know where this where the final two fucking stamps are? So I have no idea where they may be. Maybe we'll find out by doing the quiz. Alright. Oh, I don't need a Joy-Con wheel for this, huh? Nice. Let's go burn rubber! Alrighty. Okay. Let's go to quiz. Alrighty. Alright. Sure. Alright. Easily attached to and detailed. Alright, strong magnetic pull. Joy-Con 2 wheel puts in a Joy-Con 2 controller. This will using internal magnets. Alright, the closer a magnet to the thing is sticking to, the stronger the pull. We wanted it to be difficult to attach a Joy-Con 2 from the wheel. So we made the plastic around the magnets quite thin. It's common to use plastic with thickness of approximately a millimeter. But in this case, the plastic we're using is especially thin. It's less than 0.3 millimeters. We did so that the wheel and Joy-Con 2 are as close together as possible. Alright, the magnets rotate. Joy-Con 2 wheel and Joy-Con 2 controller are usually attached magnetically. Magnets in Joy-Con 2 wheel stick to the steel SL and SR buttons on the Joy-Con 2 controllers. And when the SLSR buttons on the Joy-Con 2 wheel are pressed, the SLSR buttons on Joy-Con 2 and controller inside the wheel are also pressed. But having them pressed down normally wasn't enough. If you move the magnets, the Joy-Con 2 moves along with them. As a result, the SL and R buttons not getting pressed as intended. The SLSR buttons are pressed with something like a rod. The Joy-Con 2 controller will come off the magnet. So what did we do? We made the magnets rotate. And at the axis point, the Joy-Con 2 is still stuck to the magnet and doesn't move. The SL and SR buttons are being pressed where the magnets rotate. Alright, securely attached. To make sure the Joy-Con 2 controller can be easily inserted into the Joy-Con 2 wheel, we add a gap beneath the Joy-Con 2. However, simply including a gap would cause the Joy-Con 2 to become dislodged when the controller sticks still. So what do? Well, we needed a solution that wouldn't get in the way of the Joy-Con 2 when it's attached. There's rubber attached here. The only way the control stick will bump when it's tilted down. But it's positioned enough to hold the Joy-Con 2 in place. Thanks to this, the Joy-Con 2 controller feels secure attached and won't easily detach. Now I gotta go see these for myself. What? I can't reach them? Hang on, maybe I gotta go up here. Nope. Nothing there. Ah, that was sneakily hidden. I wonder where that was. That was well hidden. There we go. Alright. There we go. We have one more area. We will get to that soon enough, but for right now, I want to go to finish the quizzes here. So let's do it. Alright. As for Joy-Con 2 wheel, attaching or detaching Joy-Con 2 controller is easy. When you're using the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con wheel, the Joy-Con has to be pushed in and then pulled out to remove. As for Joy-Con 2 wheel, magnets allow the Joy-Con 2 to be easily clicked into place or smoothly removed. Alright, let's do the quiz. Alright, here we go. Insights quiz. Joy-Con 2 wheel. Alrighty. Magnets. It's question one's answer. We have a gap at it, I see. And the magnets, they rotate. You press the SLSR buttons on the wheel. And that thing is less than 0.3 millimeters. Alright. Success. Alright. And we got another quiz. So let's go there next. Alright. Oh, hidden inside a Joy-Con wheel. Sure, let's see it. Alright. The wheels are of similar size. As you probably already know, the Joy-Con 2 is larger than the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. When you compare Joy-Con 2 wheel with the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con wheel, you'll notice that there isn't much difference in terms of size. The roughly equal size was about as small as we could make it. This was to ensure that people with smaller hands could reach the control sticks and buttons. That said, even though it's about the same size overall, the SL and SR buttons are now larger and easier to press. Easy to grip wheel. The Nintendo Switch Joy-Con wheel has a groove where the parts join. You're likely to touch this part with your fingers. So we thought about how to prevent this from happening. You can see that the Joy-Con 2 wheel parts are shaped differently. There are almost no grooves on the outside. That's actually a bit unusual. All this makes it feel pretty nice to hold. Alright, hidden screws. The Joy-Con 2 wheel has a lot of screws. They're needed to hold the plastic in place. Do you know where they are? There are 6 screws hidden underneath the outer plastic. We hid them to make it look as much as a wheel as possible. Nintendo and wheels. On the topic of wheels, Nintendo has had steering wheel controls available for a long time. That was the Wii wheel back in 2008, the Joy-Con wheel for Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Labo Toy-Con vehicle kit, and those are just a few examples. If you go all the way back, you can find more examples of this, such as Racing 112, which only came out in Japan, and even Drive Game, both of which were exclusive to Japan. Steering wheel controls let you enjoy the feeling of driving a car. And yes, Nintendo's been around for a very long time. They were first founded in 1889 as a car-making company. Alright, we'll take the Joy-Con 2-wheel insights quiz. Alright. Question number 1. Which is bigger? They're both the same size. Question number 2. What has been done to make the Joy-Con 2 wheel easier to grip? The grooves... the grooves are now mostly out of reach of your hands. There were 6 screws on the outside of Joy-Con wheel 2. Where in? Under the outer plastic. Of the following using steering controls, which is the oldest? That would be Drive Game from 1966. Alright, pretty good. Alright. You know, your knowledge of the Joy-Con 2 wheel knows no bounds. Thank you. Alright. Oops. Alright, last area. Here we go. Home stretch. We're going inside the system, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all ready. Achoo! Yeah. Alright. Whoa. Crazy to think we're actually inside the system. Alright. Alright. Wow. Alright, there we go. Power button. Volume buttons. Brightness sensor. Heat sink. The fan. Ah, the USB Type-C connector. The audio jack. The game card slot. Now let's head up here. Alright, the speaker. Right speaker. Wireless antenna. Man, I don't know how to get there. Where could the other wireless antenna be? Hmm. This is a little complicated. I'm gonna be back in a moment. I am just gonna go get my charger. Alrighty. Ah, there we go. Upper wireless antenna. Yeah, we found that. Alrighty. Alright. Heat sink. Oh, heat pipe. Nice. Vents a fan. Mhm. Alright, wireless antenna right. Alright. Ah, there we go. Battery. Alrighty. Alright, left speaker. Left the micro SD card slot. Hmm. Hmm. There we go. Now there's one missing. That would be... Alright. How do I get over there? How do I reach that microphone? Is there a way to there? Because it does seem like there's a way over. Just don't know how to get there. Unless... No, another dead end. Damn it! Where can I reach this thing? Oh! Okay, there we go. That took me a while. Alrighty. There we go. That's it. We got every single stamp. Now it's time to go do the remaining quizzes. So... give me a minute to get my footing back. Alright, do you know how many parts are on the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Sure, let's take a look. Alright. Main circuit board parts. On a Nintendo Switch 2 console circuit board, there are twice as many parts as there were on the Nintendo Switch console circuit board. The most common type part used is the capacitor. They're used to help maintain stable electrical signals. Since Nintendo Switch 2 console changes electrical signals at much higher speeds than Nintendo Switch console, slice instability can cause it to stop working properly. So what we did was use even more capacitors to ensure the electrical signals were disrupted as little as possible by enabling the exchange of stable high-speed electricity. This way, Nintendo Switch 2 can run at high speeds. Alright. Single circuit board? This is the circuit board inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console. It might seem like it's just a single layer at first, but this single sheet is actually made up of more than 10 thin layers. Each of these thin layers contains wiring that connects one component to another. The wires are a bit like the human nervous system. There are thousands of these wires on the console circuit board. Each layer uses a slightly different wiring. Wiring layout. We designed it all as if we were trying to solve a puzzle with our hands. Ah, nice. Alrighty. Next up, wiring challenges. As you may already know, the circuit board, yeah, we know. But wiring is just about connecting all the components together. Other things need to be considered too. For instance, it's not possible to have wires crossing on a single layer. The wires had to be narrowed in 0.1 millimeters to avoid overlap. The length of the wiring is important too. When an electronic signal runs through wires about as fast as the speed of light. Now consider the fact that this exchange takes place in a fraction of the billionth of a second. When you have several wires sending data together, they all need to be the same length, or else the signals will arrive at different times. So we had to make the lengths of each wire match, ensuring that the signals arrive at the same time. And one more thing. We made sure the wires are not too long, and the signals could become too weak to their reach their destination, and not too close to each other, as the signals could get mixed up. Alright. I know games use electricity. Games use a lot of electricity. The Nintendo Switch 2 console is typically used to play games, so it's also likely to need a lot of electricity. Smart devices let you do so much more than play games where they consume less electricity. The amount of electricity that a smart device needs to run for a day will be used by Nintendo Switch 2 in about 3 hours. Incidentally, more than half of this electricity is used by a main computer, which is called the SoC. Alright, let's do the quiz. Alright, here we go. Question number 1. Which of the following consoles has more components on its circuit board? Switch 2 console. How many layers? Over 10. And how fast are signals that travel through the wiring on the Nintendo Switch 2's console circuit board? The speed of light. What part of Nintendo Switch 2 console requires over half of its total power usage? Main computer. Oh man. Well, I got that one correct. Alrighty. Alright. Now I go discover more insights. Alright, let's see what we got. Electromagnetic noise. Whenever there's an electric current running through the circuit board wiring inside Nintendo Switch 2 console, there will always be electromagnetic noise present, and electromagnetic noise can sometimes interfere with nearby devices, which can cause them to not work properly. Electromagnetic noise doesn't easily penetrate metal, so to prevent a lot of it from escaping the console, we route to the areas where it's emitted in metal. For instance, take the main computer called the SoC. We encase the SoC in metal, to prevent a lot of electromagnetic noise from getting out. When the wire is dry and the temperature is low, you may feel a little shock when touching something metal. This is static electricity. If static electricity hits a game console, the console could stop working or become broken. And of course, we wouldn't want that to happen. So we've employed a few ideas in place where your fingers are likely to touch metal. The game card slot and Joy-Con 2 magnetic contenders are two such places. For example, we have parts on the impact of a sudden jolt of static electricity, and spots that absorb it. These spots stop the static electricity from getting to the parts that might otherwise easily damage. The parts that encase in Nintendo Switch 2 console are made from two types of material. These materials are very tightly attached to each other. One is magnesium alloy, shown in orange, and the other is plastic, shown in black. The magnesium alloy is on the inside. It's strong and robust, and also serves to reduce electromagnetic noise. Then there's the outer layer of plastic. Even when the unit gets hot, the plastic lets you touch the console without feeling the heat. We set these two materials together to make a full use of them. The console itself is thinner than if we had made it entirely of plastic, and there's more space on the inside too. Alright, the upper USB-C connector. On top of Nintendo Switch 2 console, you'll find a USB Type-C connector. You use to charge the console's battery. This allows the system to charge while you're playing in handheld or tabletop mode. That's not all. The USB Type-C connector can also use to connect the Nintendo Switch 2 camera to the console. That's nice. I know about the camera already. However, the USB Type-C connector cannot be used to connect to the Nintendo Switch 2 dock. That means it's not possible to inset the console into the dock upside down. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's take the next quiz. Alright. What is the Nintendo Switch 2's console circular wrap to prevent from escaping? Metal. When you touch the metal part of a Nintendo Switch 2 console, what can be transmitted from your hand to the console? Static electricity. Alright. The parts that encase the inside the Nintendo Switch 2 consoles are made out of plastic and what other material? Magnesium alloy. Which of the following can you not do with USB Type-C connector on top of the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Insert the console into the dock. Alrighty. Alright, let's see what quizzes we have remaining. Oh, you're Susie here? Hi, he's your personal assistant. Alright. Alright, quiz. Console's wireless communications. Alright, let's do it. We're gonna be here for a little bit. Alright. When it comes to wireless communication on Nintendo Switch 2, a few different methods are possible. There's on communication via Wi-Fi, Bluetooth communication between Nintendo Switch 2 console and other devices, NFC communication with Amiibo, and local communication between Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. Quite a list, huh? And since none of these communication methods involve cables, you don't have to worry about anything getting in the way. Wireless communication can be pretty convenient. Alright. Free antennas. Within a Nintendo Switch 2 console, there are free antennas. These free antennas exchange signals with other devices. They're used to connect devices such as the Joy-Con 2 controllers, Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controllers, or Bluetooth headphones. They can also use to connect to the internet via Wi-Fi, or to other Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. What's more, parts encasing antennas as well as the console itself have an additional function. They actually help the antennas work. Alright. The Wi-Fi signal used for online communication and the Bluetooth signal used for devices such as Joy-Con 2 can get mixed up. If we don't employ extra measures to prevent this, it can result in poor communication between devices. So to help prevent this, we made sure that the signals take turns. The console can use either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but not both at the same time. It can switch between these two types of communication very quickly. It also ever so slightly offsets the type of signal used. With these measures in place, the signals have a much lower risk of getting mixed up. Alright. Human body and antennas. Fun fact, it is difficult for radio signals to pass through the human body. So when the console is using Wi-Fi communication, if your hands or body is close to the antennas, it may weaken the signal. Just have to make sure that the signal wouldn't get weakened too much. One way we did so was by considering the position of the antennas. It was chosen to ensure that your hands aren't blocking the antennas when playing it in handheld mode. As for Joy-Con 2 controllers antennas, there are different ways to hold controllers depending on the game, so we tried to distribute them evenly as best as we could. Then there are the antennas in the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. There's only one way to hold the Pro controller, so we kept the antennas away from your expected hand position. Basically, the antennas were positioned based on how you would be holding the controllers. Alright. In the past, the game console used cables for communication. As time went on, there was a gradual shift to wireless technology. It used to be that when you wanted to connect two game consoles together to play, you need a special cable to link them. The Game Boy or Game Boy Advance systems are examples of these. Later, special adapter-enabled wireless communication for Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS followed with wireless communication capabilities as well. As for controllers, up until the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo controllers had to be connected with a cable. This is when the Wavebird controller came along, which used dedicated radio signals. The Wii Remote, after your disc, uses Bluetooth. A similar shift can be seen in regards to internet connections. Nintendo GameCube had to be connected to the internet via a LAN cable. After this, Nintendo DS and Wii went on to use Wi-Fi technology. Starting from the 2000s, the number of Nintendo devices utilizing wireless communication steadily increased. Alright, quiz time. Alright. Here we go. Alright, we got which of the following can communicate wirelessly with the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Amiibos. Alright, there are three types of these inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console. They are antennas. When the Nintendo Switch 2 console uses wireless communication, which of the following is offset? Radio waves. Alright, question 4. Which of the following is most difficult for signals to pass through? That would be the human body. Oh, historically, through which we have had Nintendo game consoles communicate with each other in their controllers. Physical cables. Alrighty. We still have a tiny bit more to go. What is next? I think I saw a quiz over here. Oh, Micro XD Express cards. Alright. Wow, you definitely put up a lot of stuff. Alright, Micro Express SD memory cards. A Micro SD Express card can be used to save various Nintendo Switch 2 data. Downloaded games as well as photos and videos taken with the catch button are saved to this card. It's a handy thing to have if you've run out of system memory. You can use a Micro SD card on a Nintendo Switch console, but only a Micro SD Express card will work on a Nintendo Switch 2 console. You'll find a place for that in the spot where you can pull out the stand. You'll just need to insert into the slot marked Micro SD Express and you should be good to go. Alright, if no system memory is available, a Micro SD Express card could help. Alright, more pens. Let's take a closer look at the Micro SD Express card. While it may look similar to the Micro SD card, there are key differences. Should notice once you flip it over, it has a lot more pins. With these pins, data can be read and written in a new way. But since the original pins are still there, it can even work as a Micro SD card. It's actually comparable with Nintendo Switch consoles. Compatible, I mean, with Nintendo Switch systems. Alright, a new way to read and write data. With the Micro SD Express card, the Nintendo Switch 2 console is a new way to read and write data. Compared to when you use a Micro SD card in Nintendo Switch console, assuming a buffer size of 4 MB, the read speed will be about 8 times faster. However, different cards will typically read and write at different speeds. Some games may be doing more in the background than just loading, which means loading speeds may not always be around 8 times faster. Reading and writing speeds are getting faster. Alright. The Nintendo Switch 2 console only accepts a specific type of card, and that is the Micro SD Express card. Take note that Micro SD cards won't work. Nintendo Switch 2 console takes advantage of the speed at which Micro SD Express cards read and write data, and we'd like you to benefit from this extra speed as you enjoy new games. Although, that's not to say that the Micro SD cards are completely unusable. If you still have photos and images saved to a Micro SD card that was used on a Nintendo Switch 1 console, you can copy the data from the Micro SD card to Nintendo Switch 2 console system's memory. That's likely to get hot. The Micro SD card is fast. Because it sends signals so quickly, it tends to get hot. Naturally, try as much as we can to avoid heat buildup. We thought about where to place the Micro SD Express card slot, and decided to put it near one of the air inlets to help keep it cool. On top of that, we kept the Micro SD Express card slot farther away from our printed consoles that are likely to get hot. We even applied graphite sheets to the Micro SD Express card slot. These sheets are very effective at transferring heat. The sheet helps spread the heat around, which keeps the area cool. Micro-SD Express cards can get hot easily. Sets have been taking care to try and prevent the cards from heating up. Alright, let's go to the quiz now. Alright, here we go. Alrighty. Which of the following can be inserted here and used with the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Micro-SD Express memory cards. Alright, what does a Micro-SD Express memory card have more than a Micro-SD card? Pins. How do the read and write speeds of a Micro-SD card memory card compare to that of a Micro-SD card? Micro-SD cards are... SD Express cards are a lot faster. Alright, what aspect of the Micro-SD Express memory cards you gain for Nintendo's 2 console make full use? Their reading and writing speeds. Alright, question number 5. The Nintendo Switch 2 console has been designed to benefit Micro-SD cards in what way? Stops them from heating up. Alright. Nice, I didn't think I was going to pass that. Alright. Alright, how many more quizzes do we have left? Well, we got lots. Alright. Let's see how much we can blitz through. Alright, vivid screen. Nintendo Switch 2 screen can produce very vivid colors. The deep violet red, for instance, in order to produce such rich colors, a very thick color filter is used. However, when you use a thick filter, the resulting image will be darker. If you compensate for this with more brightness, the battery will drain more quickly. We didn't want to compromise the battery life, so instead, to keep the image from getting too dark, we made the shining dots as large as they could be. We also made other customization along these lines. Liquid crystal display. The Nintendo Switch 2 screen uses a liquid crystal display. It works much the same way as the Nintendo Switch's console screen. It's much brighter and more vivid than the Nintendo Switch console screen, though. Also, the Nintendo Switch OLED model uses an OLED system. OLED screens are very vivid, but the Nintendo Switch 2 console's LCD screen is also quite striking. While it's true that the OLED's model colors are a little richer, the Nintendo Switch 2 console's screen can be brighter. The screen is also HDR compatible. For those of both consoles, it might be interesting to compare them. Alright, refresh rate and LCD. The number of times per second that a screen changes its image is called the refresh rate. For example, if the image were to change 60 times per second, you could say that the refresh rate is 60 Hz. In the case of the Nintendo Switch 2 console's screen, it supports a refresh rate of 120 Hz. It also supports VRR, which also allows for switching between refresh rates. But each of these features have also been fine-tuned. If the image changes 120 times per second, the pictures do change incredibly quickly. But it also means anything that interferes with the signal, such as resistance, will have a more noticeable effect. This can ruin the image as a result. So we have a few ways to reduce the amount of interference. Conversely, when there are fewer pictures changing per second, colors gradually fade and the image gets darker. So we had to find ways to ensure that the colors don't fade easily. Alright. Here we go. Screen Insights Quiz 2. Alright. Which of the following is used to produce a bright red color in a Switch 2 screen? Thin or thick? I'm going to say thick red filter. The Nintendo Switch 2 screen puts the image via which medium? Liquid crystal. What is the term for a number of times? That is refresh rate. This is what happens when you trust your instinct. Alright. Alright. Let's see about the console screen here. Alrighty, a bigger screen. In terms of screen size, the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen is about 7.9 inches. Compared to a Nintendo Switch console's 6.2-inch screen and the 7-inch screen, the OLED model, it's gotten pretty big. In fact, it's the biggest screen of all the Nintendo consoles to date. This makes it look even more impressive in tabletop and handheld modes. It's also easier to see when playing with others. By the way, it's actually slightly bigger than 7.9 inches. Alright, sometimes bigger is better. The Nintendo Switch 2 console does have a large screen, which actually has some benefits you might not be aware of. For instance, a bigger screen means that the computers can do even more calculations. How? Well, the more calculations the computer performs, the hotter it gets. The larger the device, the less likely it is to heat up. This allows the computer to perform lots of calculations. So to lay it all out, the bigger the screen, the bigger the console. The larger the console, the less likely to heat up. The cooler it stays, the more calculations the computer can do. And the more calculations it can do, the more pictures and characters it can ultimately calculate. So, if the computer can calculate lots of pictures and characters, the images should look clear and smooth, and many characters can be moving around at once. That's the goal anyway. Alright, a little light goes a long way. The Nintendo Switch 2 console screen lights up to fully display images. The light's produced by white LEDs. A single LED emits a tiny point of light. As they are, these little lights aren't enough to light up the whole screen. With the use of a translucent plate called a light guiding plate, the light of an LED can be spread. There is a slight unevenness to the plate. This reflects the light in a complex, uneven way and spreads out. In this way, by lining a bunch of LEDs next to the plate, the entire screen can be lit up. To ensure uniform brightness of the screen, we experimented with different bumpy patterns and eventually setting on the current design. Alright, let's go take the quiz now. Alright, what do we got this time? Question number 1. In terms of size, how many inches is the Nintendo Switch 2 screen? 7.9. What can the Nintendo Switch 2 console now that it's bigger? Make many calculations. The light that lights at the entire Nintendo Switch 2 Star Cell is what kind of light? Small dots of light. Alright. Wow, I'm just gazing these. Holy crud, there's more to go through. How many quizzes do we have to go? Let's do the battery capacity next. Alright. 1 times 2x battery capacity. In terms of performance, the Nintendo Switch 2 console is several times better than the Nintendo Switch console. Naturally, this means it requires more power. We've done our best to reduce the amount of power it uses. Of course, even after optimizing the console, we need to get it more power. If we use the same battery that's used in the Nintendo Switch, we won't be able to use the Nintendo Switch 2 for very long. So for Nintendo Switch 2, we opted for a different battery. The new 520 mAh battery has 1.2 times the capacity of the old one. mAh stands for milliampere hours. An increase of 1.2x doesn't mean you'll be able to use a console for 1.2 times longer, but we do our best to maximize the time that you can play on it. Battery longevity. We believe that video game consoles should be long-term companions. We'd like you to be able to keep on using them for many years to come. That's why we do our best to make sure that Nintendo Switch 2's console's battery lasts a long time. There are a few things we do to achieve this. We've personally tried to ensure that the battery doesn't get too much power when it's charged. If it did, the energy output will be slightly weakened. The battery could begin to degrade. Also, it's easy to damage a battery with fast charging, so we've done our best to prevent this. Our focus was on how many times a console can be charged. We want to be able to be charged even more times than a smart device. Alright, Nintendo and batteries. Nintendo has a history of using batteries to power game consoles. Lithium-ion batteries in particular. Console battery life has been proven with successive generations. The Game Boy Advance SP has 600 mAh, Nintendo DS 850 mAh. Nintendo 3DS, 1300 mAh. Nintendo Switch, 4310 mAh. And Nintendo Switch 2 has 5220 mAh. Incidentally, the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance system used dry cell batteries. In those days, if you ran out of battery while playing, you had to throw away the dry cell batteries and buy new ones. Oh god. Thank goodness we have Nintendo Classics. Now you've read everything, you deserve a quiz. Alright, let's do it. Alright. Insight quiz, battery. Alright, how much more capacity does Nintendo Switch 2 console battery have? That is 1.2. Wait, why is the Nintendo Switch 2 console battery not supply too much power? It helps prevent battery degradation. What was used to power the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance systems? Dry cell batteries. Success! Alright. Oh, another quiz here. You can learn more about Nintendo Switch 2 console's heat dissipation methods here. Alright. See what we got. Alright, electronic devices get hot. Some electronic devices can heat up the longer they run. It can get particularly hot when performing fast calculations, communicating rapidly, or running while being charged. And using devices that are hot to the touch definitely isn't fun. That's not the only problem. If parts are too hot, the device itself may fail to work properly. Some parts can even break completely. To ensure this doesn't happen, Nintendo Switch 2 cools down parts in different ways so they don't get too hot. Alright, a quiet fan. Nintendo Switch 2 console does its best to keep itself from heating up. One way it does this is with a built-in fan. This fan funnels air into the console and blows it at different parts. Then the hot air is then pushed out to keep things cool. The fan isn't always running though. First, it uses the temperature sensor to check how hot the console is. If it's hot, the fan runs at high speeds. If it's not too hot, it'll only spin a little. At low speeds, the fan will be so quiet you can barely hear it. Try putting your ear up to the fan listening for yourself. Air flows to the front and back. The Nintendo Switch 2 console contains a circuit board. The components on the circuit board generate heat. These need to be cooled down. To do this, air flows to both the front and back of the circuit board. Both sides are directly connected via the air inlet. And the fan draws in air, ventilating both the front and back. And so, the components on both the front and back of the circuit board can be safely cooled. That's one. To cool a Nintendo Switch 2 console with air, the airflow needs to be as smooth as possible. With good airflow, the fan doesn't have to push itself to high speeds. Air inlets were made on the underside to let air aerate in. At the outlet, the air comes straight out, but unobstructed. Thanks to this and the console's more powerful fan, Nintendo Switch 2 provides roughly twice the airflow of Nintendo Switch. Alright. Quiz time. Here we go. Heat dissipation. Alright, what happens to electronic devices as they run? They get hot. Which of the following is attached to Nintendo Switch console to cool it down? A fan. Question 3. Where does the airflow over the Nintendo Switch console circuit board to cool it down? Both the front and back. And last question. How much airflow does Nintendo Switch console provide in contrast to Nintendo Switch console? I'm gonna guess twice as much, but I'm gonna get this wrong. No, I got it right again! Man, I'm doing pretty good. And we got another one. Well, we got so many quizzes here. I don't think we're going to be able to make through all of them. And it's 10:17. I think we're going to end the stream here, and then and then next week, we'll try to finish up Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we got for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in this live stream. Since the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup again, this officially means that we're going to be actually having another holiday stream this week on Friday night. But other than that, the stream schedule for the rest of the week will remain unchanged. We'll be doing The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker on Thursday night, and on Saturday we will start Tower of Doom DLC and Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Thank you all for tuning into this live stream. I'll catch you all in the future ones. And by the way, before we go, I'm gonna send you guys all over. Let's see if we got something live right now. Alright. I am gonna send you guys all over to I'm gonna send you all out over to Victoria Beyond. And I'll catch y'all in the next live stream. See you next time.
Wish